we got Nick Crawley. Shoot, I'm not even subscribed to him. The darkest moments in TV history, number 7. This is a crazy series. I love these type of videos. Never reacted to one on stream, but let's freaking get it. We live on Twitch right now, so come check me out. Let's go. The river. The following video contains scenes that may be upsetting and distressing for some viewers. Viewer discretion. I don't know how to say it.
On the 29th of June, 2025, a group of teenagers ventured into the Miriam River in Bacabal, Brazil.
Brazil.
For a morning swim. But after several minutes, the group started to realize that one of its members, 13-year-old Raisa, was no longer beside them.
Wait, would y'all swim in the river in Brazil?
The surrounding area, the realization set in. Raisa had disappeared.
Oh,
it was now likely somewhere in that murky water around them. The news sent shockwaves throughout the community, and straight away, locals filled the area to help find this girl.
Oh, shoot.
Their attempts were all futile.
All right.
And with each passing moment, it grew more and more likely that Raisa had tragically drowned, with the search efforts shifting to recovery efforts the next morning.
RIP, if that's true. What happened?
Tragedy led to various news stations arriving on the scene to help document the search, and for one reporter, Lenildo Frazao, he couldn't help but view Raisa's story as a cautionary tale.
Did they find her?
The Miriam River is particularly unassuming from the surface, which is exactly what made it so dangerous, since it carried with it an unexpectedly strong current and a bottom that was littered with sudden drop-offs. As even in shallow sections, one step could plunge you into deep water without warning. As a result, tragedies like this had sadly happened here before, and for Lenildo, this was the perfect time to highlight the river's dangers, in the hope of preventing one from ever happening again. And he had a unique idea to help achieve this.
Okay, we'll keep this.
Rather than just explaining how dangerous the river was,
lock in. We locking in.
Demonstrate it. And so he began to take off his shoes and his pants before entering the water. With
Lock
his
in.
microphone in his hand.
We locked in. It's right here, guys. We're gonna get into the water here now. What type of creatures do they got in Brazilian rivers? I need to be educated on this.
The camera rolled as he waded into the river.
Did he see someone?
To the depths of his knees, before the riverbed began to drop beneath him, sending the water all the way up to his chest.
There's still the current. Yo, get out of there, bro. Get out of there.
And all while this happened, he spoke to the viewers at home about how unsafe this area could be, especially for unattended children who weren't strong swimmers. But even with most of his body now submerged, he wanted to take it even further in order to prove his point. And so he continued wading towards the center of the river.
Bro, that's up to your chest.
Of the noticeably fast-moving current. Until suddenly...
Oh no. Oh no. Don't tell me he gets swept away. Wait, no. Don't tell me he stepped on something. Don't tell me he stepped on her. No.
Lenildo physically recoiled and let out a loud yell.
No.
He stood there for a moment, anxiously glaring into the water. Before telling his crew, I think there's something down here underwater.
Oh no, it's gonna be her. It's gonna be her.
In those murky depths didn't seem natural, with Lenildo describing it as being soft.
Oh no.
He made his way back to the shore, where he further explained why he was so shaken by
No.
admitting that what he stepped on felt like an arm.
No.
This is the exact moment that many believe Raisa was found, as just moments later, several locals would retrace Lenildo's steps and discover the 13-year-old's body in the same exact location. Raisa had died from an accidental drowning, as she wasn't a strong swimmer, and had likely fallen into the deep water.
Dude, rest in
held down by the current. The exact conditions that Lenildo had been warning the viewers about, when he unknowingly stepped on her corpse.
Oh my gosh.
With the entire ordeal culminating into what can only be described as one of the darkest moments in television history.
Dude, that's awful. That was the intro. Yo, hold on. The darkest moments in TV history. Number 7. Damn, there's 7 of these. Let's get it.
Individually, they're just like you and me, but together they are a source of endless fascination.
Let's get it.
And we'll conduct a rigorous scientific experiment into twin telepathy.
The Erickson twins. What's this about? Oh
It was a
gosh.
peculiar sight. As traffic flowed through one of the UK's busiest roadways, the M6, CCTV cameras captured two women walking down the narrow median, with a vehicle speeding past them on either side.
Nothing too crazy.
These women were Sabina and Ursula Eriksson, 40-year-old identical twin sisters who grew up in Sweden, with Ursula eventually moving to the US and Sabina to Ireland. Just one day before this footage was taken, on May 16, 2008, Ursula had made the long flight to visit Sabina at her home in Dublin. But things got off to a troubling start when Sabina got into a verbal altercation with her husband and the father of her two kids, prompting both sisters to leave the house in the middle of the night without telling anyone. The next morning, the sisters emerged in the city of Liverpool, where they visited a police station and reported that Sabina's kids were in danger and were unsafe in her husband's care. Law enforcement briefly looked into the matter, but ultimately they didn't seem too concerned with the children's well-being, and rather they seemed more troubled by the women themselves. Their behavior was just somewhat off. So much so that shortly after leaving the station, they were kicked off a public bus for exhibiting erratic behavior, which some passengers found threatening. And after the altercation, this erratic behavior continued. As for unknown reasons, the pair began walking towards the M6, and then eventually right onto it, where we see them now. It defied any sort of logic, and put them in an extremely dangerous position, a position where one wrong move could lead to a horrific accident. And sure enough, that's exactly what would happen.
Oh, shoot.
Though it was
a car crash?
Without warning, both women turned and then ran directly into the road, and for Sabina, directly into a car traveling in the fast lane. Immediately,
were they like
local
on
police were
drugs or
inundated
something?
with urgent calls about the ordeal, leading to a group of officers being dispatched to the scene. And coincidentally, the same group just so happened to have a camera crew following them as part of the show Motorway Cops. The show follows traffic officers as they handle their many
what are the chances of that?
Ranging from mundane traffic infractions all the way to devastating tragedies. And this segment seemed destined for the latter.
Lane 3 is obviously the fastest lane of the motorway. Anyone being hit, you're expecting serious injury, if not life-threatening.
Despite the officers fearing the worst, however, when they arrived on the scene, they were met with a surprising sight. Standing there before them was Ursula and Sabina, who despite being struck by a car at high speeds, appeared completely unharmed. In fact, both sisters were entirely calm, as they were shown casually speaking amongst themselves as if nothing ever happened. It was a miracle. And as the officers began to piece together the cause of this whole ordeal, everyone at the scene began to breathe a collective sigh of relief. There was no way that any of them could have known the roles had just been cast in one of the most disturbing television scenes of all time.
Oh my. What's about to happen? What's about to happen?
What we've got is they were in the central res.
Is this actually, is this them?
As we approached, they hadn't seen us, brother. The red one's got knocked down by the red car over there. I've got an ambulance en route for her. She seems alright, but I'm not a doctor. She has been knocked down.
Is she the one that speaks English or the other one?
Yes. The other one, she's got...
Without a single word being spoken, Ursula dashed into the middle of oncoming traffic and directly into the path of a massive truck traveling at over 60 miles per hour.
Oh my gosh.
It happened in a literal instant. There was hardly any chance to react, and before anyone could even begin to process what they had just witnessed, Sabina would also run into the road, not after her sister, but rather straight into the path of an oncoming Volkswagen.
Whoa.
Oh no! Mike Alpha, we need ambulance. Senior officers to the scene. We've got 2 possible fatals.
They just killed themselves?
Within just seconds, this completely calm scene had turned to utter chaos, and both women were now lying on the pavement.
Did they plan on doing this?
Both were still alive.
What?
Sabina was stable but knocked unconscious, while Ursula was in rough shape.
Oh no.
Her legs had been pulverized by the truck, with paramedics describing them as looking as if they had exploded.
Oh.
And while she lay there on the pavement, she was wide awake and experiencing everything. Within seconds of receiving medical attention, Ursula began to cry out. But strangely, it wasn't in pain. Rather, she was yelling at the paramedics, cursing, and even attacking them for trying to help her.
What? Oh my gosh.
Calm down.
They have to be on crazy drugs.
Shouting things like, "I recognize you. I know you're not real."
Yeah.
Come on, you've hit your head.
Or like some mental problem. I'm not...
We are the police.
It was clear that she was suffering from some sort of delusion.
Yeah.
While officers had their hands full trying to subdue her, things were about to get even more hectic as Sabina started to regain consciousness.
Wait, this is crazy.
Whoa.
She had been brutally struck by a car, as evidenced by the damage to the vehicle
God
itself.
damn.
But
How are they?
Ursula, she also appeared almost entirely unfazed.
Dude,
as she stood up
what?
and began to scream to her sister, They're
going
going to
to
steal your organs. One of the officers tried to hold her back, but Sabina resisted.
Still, why do you feel me?
Oscar Tango 33.
Eventually shoving the woman to the ground, before once again taking off into oncoming
Oh my
traffic.
gosh.
No! Stay!
What is going
Calm
on?
down, calm down, calm down.
Thankfully, this time the cars managed to avoid her, but it would take 6 officers to finally restrain her, and even with that many
6?
people, it was still a struggle, as her strength was unlike anything that they had seen in a woman her size. And with Sabina now subdued, the chaos was finally over. In the following moments, Ursula
What
was
happened to her
later taken
sister?
a
Is her
local
sister
hospital,
good?
where she underwent an extensive, yet successful emergency surgery, while Sabina was shockingly found to have no injuries, which allowed her to be discharged into police
What?
custody after just 5 hours, where she was promptly arrested and sentenced to 1 day in prison for assaulting an officer, as well as trespassing on the motorway.
Are they gonna do like mental
And with
checkups?
both
What's
women
going
now
on?
safe,
Didn't
one
the-
question burned at the forefront of
No way they
everyone's
just let him
minds.
go.
Why had the Erickson twins
I'm
done this?
confused. Yeah. I
Well,
need
immediate
the
theory was that
psychology.
This was all the result of drug use.
Yeah,
But
that's-
surprisingly, when given toxicology tests,
No.
drugs or alcohol would be found in either of their systems.
Okay,
They
then
were entirely sober during this ordeal.
what?
Which left only one plausible theory:
Mental-
that this was all the result of some sort of mental breakdown,
Yeah,
with
yeah.
both women somehow experiencing its effects at the same time. Today, this case
Like
is used
some
as one of the
family-
most glaring examples of a psychological disorder known as folie à deux, in which one person
delusion
suffering
or
from
mental
delusions
illness shared by two
transmits
people in
said
close
delusion onto a
association.
different person, leading to both people
Really?
experiencing the same misconstrued version of reality. And while this is
Really?
only a theory, it's clear that regardless of the
That's
how
her?
or why, these women were
She looks
extremely
out of
mentally
it, I'm not gonna
unwell
lie.
during this event. In fact, during the TV program, an officer even mentioned that this could be a 136.
Yeah.
Is she under arrest, ladies?
What's a 136?
Well,
What's that?
136 if she is.
Which is a code that allows law enforcement to hold people on account of their mental health to assure that they're safe to return to the public. But shockingly, not only did this never happen, but
Alright,
Sabina was
we-
released without ever being given a mental health assessment.
Oh hell
In
no.
fact,
UK,
she was
what are
never
you?
so much as looked over by a mental health professional, and was instead released the very next day after the incident. On top of this, when she was released, she was given no information about Ursula's whereabouts or her condition, or even resources to help find her way home, leaving Sabina still mentally unwell and now stranded in an unfamiliar
Oh,
city,
gosh.
not knowing what happened to
What's
her
about to
sister.
happen?
And sadly, her delusions were far from over.
Oh no. What's she about to do?
As she left the police station on the 19th of May, Sabina had nowhere to go, and so she began to wander, carrying her belongings in the same evidence bag that the police had given her earlier that day.
What is she about to do?
Eventually, she would happen across 2 men walking their dogs, and as she stopped to pet them, Sabina asked the owners where the nearest hotel was. But seemingly recognizing that the woman wasn't well, one of the men, Glenn Hollenshed, offered to have her stay at his place. To which Sabina happily obliged.
Oh
But
no,
once
she's about to
inside
kill him.
Hollenshed's
She's about to
home,
kill him.
Sabina began acting extremely paranoid, checking the windows constantly and believing that her cigarettes had been poisoned. Despite this, though, Hollenshed was patient, and he helped her make calls around the area to track down Ursula, while making sure
Do
that Sabina
not
was
invite people
drinking.
with mental
The
illnesses
following
into
day,
your house like
Hollenshed
this.
was preparing dinner
Like,
for Sabina when
get
he
them
stepped
help.
out of the house to ask his neighbor for tea. But just minutes after returning home with the bags, he would
yes.
once again step out of the house. Only this time, he was completely covered in blood as he stumbled and screamed,
Oh
"He
no.
grabbed me."
Oh
As he
my
collapsed to the
gosh.
ground, the neighbor rushed over to try and help.
Is he
but
dead?
The damage was already done.
Is he dead?
Hollenshed would let
He
out one
died?
final soft whisper, saying, "Look after my dog for me." before breathing his final
No.
breath.
No.
For unknown reasons, in that house, Sabina had stabbed Glenn Hollenshed. And
Why
by
did they
the
let
time
her out of
enforcement
prison?
arrived, she
Or
was
jail?
long gone, having fled the house with a hammer in her hand, which she used to strike her head repeatedly as she mumbled incoherently and walked down the sidewalk.
Oh
Eventually,
my
a man
gosh.
passing by tried to intervene, but Sabina immediately attacked, brandishing a roof tile that she had hidden in her pocket and using it to strike him on the head, nearly knocking him unconscious. It would take several minutes for police to finally catch up with her,
Yep.
but just like the day prior, she took off, leading to a chase that ended with Sabina being surrounded on a 40-foot tall
Oh,
bridge
did she?
that passed over
No.
a highway.
Don't tell me she
And
jumps.
recognizing that there was nowhere left for her to go, she jumped.
Oh my gosh.
Somehow, Sabina would cheat death once again.
What?
Despite suffering 2 broken ankles and a skull fracture, she was alive.
Did that not just say 40 feet? Okay, she should be like cursed or something like, okay, if you're struggling with mental illnesses, please get the help you need. But what the fuck?
After a lengthy recovery, she was put on trial for the murder of Glenn Hollinshed.
Good.
She would never give a single comment as to why she did what she did.
She stayed
leaving her
silent?
A total mystery to this day. Though it seems clear that it was at least partially a result of her delusions.
Yeah.
With the defense pointing to
For
Florida
sure.
Dew as a potential explanation. And in the end, it was deemed that Sabina was not mentally fit to make decisions at the time of the slaying. And ultimately, she was given a prison sentence of just 5 years.
Just 5 years. And go put her
This
in.
is truly one of the most disturbing TV cases of all time. And for as shocking as it
Wait,
is
what
on
happened
its
to her
own,
sister?
What I find most chilling is the fact that these officers mentioned holding her for a psychiatric evaluation.
And they never did.
Which ultimately never happened.
Could have prevented a whole death.
It was a massive oversight. In fact, it was so glaring that the police department allegedly contacted the show and asked them to remove this entire section.
Yeah.
As if they had just followed through with that code 136, Sabina would have been held for longer than just one night.
The man
which
would have
meant
been.
that she not only may have been given the help she needed,
The
but
man.
she also never would have had the chance to meet Glenn Hollinshed that fateful day. Since her
come on,
release from
you gay.
prison in 2011, Sabina promptly disappeared from the public eye, and neither she nor Ursula has ever been heard from again. Meaning
Was
we have
she's
no
released
idea
right now?
whatever happened to the Erickson twins.
They're still out there?
They just simply tend to be making
Oh
some
my
decisions
gosh.
at the same times,
Dude.
thinking in the same way.
It's America's Got Talent or British Got Talent? Ain't no way. What's happening?
It's December 2021.
Damn, wait, this
A
is
couple
recent.
receives a warm welcome
This
as
is
they
recent.
walk onto the stage, ready to compete in the Croatian television show Super Talent,
Oh.
the country's version
Super
of
Talent,
America's Got Talent.
Not America's Got Talent.
But it's clear this excitement from the crowd wasn't shared by
Same.
the show's host, who turned to someone standing behind the camera and flashed the unmistakable look of concern.
Oh gosh. Why did he do
In
that?
the minutes prior, the audience at home was introduced to the pair, 34-year-old singer Roman Bernata and his wife, 44-year-old violinist Bianca Kolompar,
Okay.
along with their child, who would be watching on as the two shared their musical talents with the world.
Gosh, what's about to happen with a
In their
child
day-to-day
there?
lives, Roman was a professional goalkeeper for a local soccer team,
Oh, shoot.
while Bianca was a professional violinist with a doctorate in music.
Shoot.
And while on paper this all seems fairly normal, it was
Yeah.
immediately clear to those watching that this couple was anything but.
Oh gosh.
The two frequently went on long-winded and bizarre rants, with Bianca opening up about her breast enlargement surgery.
Ja sam imala kao cura velike grudi, imala, velika mi je bila želja.
Oh.
Na vratima operirala sam.
And the two discussing at length their belief in a living God who walked the earth.
Ali ja osjetim
They do
da
look
on
out of it, I'm not gonna lie.
Bogom i mislim da je
They
Bog
look out of
oko
it.
nas, da je Bog osoba, energija,
Istovremeno.
sve, istovremeno, da.
But it was their performance itself that proved to be the strangest part
Oh,
of their time on
gosh.
the show.
Pozdrav svima.
Dobro večer.
Vi se mene ne sjećate, jel da?
Ja?
Ne. Prije puno godina.
Aha, ja se vas sjećam kad sam snimala.
Film at the
Ide,
school.
ide, Hardo, ide. Je, ja se ispričavam, ali stvarno moram vas to pitati.
Roman's introduction was fairly uncomfortable, as he made mention of a time that he had met one of the judges years before, who clearly had no
Some people say I fell
Yo,
off. Shit,
hold on.
I don't even care though. Chopper on me,
Dill.
it's gon' air, bro. It's
Dill with the
nobody that I
follow,
fear,
the
bro.
GOAT. What's good, Dill? We watching darkest moments in TV history right now. I appreciate that follow, my brother. Damn, we have 143 followers. The GOAT. You are the GOAT. Oh my gosh. We got a little bit right now. But W freaking Dill. Oh.
Some people say I fell off. Shit, I don't even care.
It's happening
bro.
again.
Chopper on me, it's gon' air, bro.
What is
it's
going on?
nobody that I fear, bro.
Alright, W replay the song. Alright, but let's get back into this. Dill, how's it going? How's your day been, bro? I appreciate you stopping in.
Ja nemam nikakvog talenta.
Right now, it's this Croatian couple and like a Croatian Got Talent. And they're like talking about like a god and stuff, and they're like acting super crazy.
Rad.
Ali potpuno nebitno, emisija se
Show
zove
us your
Super
super-
Talent,
Ja vas isti
kolegica...
volim, nemojte mi
Alo,
zamjerati.
polako, polako,
Damn.
mislim da ipak ćemo mi ovdje voditi riječ.
Može, pa.
Is this
We
not
asked Roman
staged like
receiving his
a...
first ex before he even sang a single note.
Ko je kolegica pitala koji je vaš talent, a naša emisija
Damn, they
se zove
pressing him.
Super Talent.
They
a vi
pressing him.
tvrdite da nemate talent, onda vas ja pitam pošto ste došli.
They pressing him.
Ok,
Thanks, bro. Swifty.
It was a rough start for the couple, and by the time they did get to perform, things only got worse.
Wait, hold on. Hold on, he's kind of cooking. He's kind of cooking. With it. Oh, shoot. They buzzed him. And L freaking lagged. Thanks, bro. Swifty Joy 25 on ACC. Is that account? Or are you saying account?
Admittedly, the couple didn't
Swifty
sound
Joy.
awful, but it was clear the judges were frustrated by Roman's demeanor, prompting all four of them to hit their X, signaling the end of the couple's performance.
All four of
Or
them
at
was
least
crazy.
They thought.
What's about to happen? Why is he still going?
The two just kept on performing, playing over the sounds of the judges shouting their name and the deafening silence from the crowd.
This happened in 2021, by the way. This is recent.
With the two going until a producer finally had to step in from behind the camera and officially cut them off. But even then, the couple continued their antics, this time by protesting the judge's decision, with Bianca even threatening to go to the newspaper and expose their behavior to the press, all while Roman stood angrily to the side, glaring at the panel before him. And with that, Roman and Bianca's time on Super Talent was over, and they not only walked away without
some
receiving
security
any prize, but they also left with shattered reputations, as this segment became notorious among fans of Super Talent, with the couple being considered one of the most unusual acts to ever feature on the show. But despite its
they look
virality,
so
this
out of
performance
it.
isn't
They
what
look
Roman
very
is
out
most
of it.
widely remembered for today.
Ain't no way that's him.
On February 6th, 2022, residents in Rijeka,
butt booty
Croatia
naked walking
met
down the
with the
street.
sight of a fully nude man wandering the city streets.
Oh,
It was
hell no.
Roman Bernada. And while most stared on in amusement, laughing to themselves and snapping photos, what they were witnessing was actually one of the most disturbing events the city had ever seen.
Wait, what is he about to do? What is he about to do?
After his disastrous performance just 1 year prior,
Did they recognize
Roman
him?
continued to pursue a career in singing, taking every opportunity he could to share his music with the world, often joining Bianca on her YouTube channel, and singing on the streets for tips, where he actually made a decent amount of money. Though because of his notorious television moment, he would often be harassed and even have the money he earned stolen from him.
Damn.
One day, while performing outside of a local
about to
soup
crash
kitchen,
out.
he was introduced to a woman named Darnika Krevich, a 67-year-old who relied on the soup kitchen for consistent meals. And after hearing Roman sing, she became a legitimate fan of his music, leading to the two striking up a friendship. And despite Darnika not having much, she offered to take Roman to a local coffee shop on February 6th, 2022, where she treated him to a warm cup of tea on a cold winter
Is his
day.
wife about to freak out?
And so the two sat inside a restaurant called the Cafe Pin, with everything seeming completely normal, until a server noticed that Roman started to look almost sickly, like he could barely keep himself upright,
Did he
as his
get
body was
poisoned?
starting to slump over the table, his eyes barely open. The server rushed over to help, but Roman recoiled and shouted, "Just try calling the police on me."
What?
And so, not wanting to escalate things, the server left, only returning
Call the
later to
police?
drop off their check, which is when Roman's behavior took an even more drastic turn. He began feeling around his pants pocket for his wallet, before looking desperately around the table.
He don't
but
got
there was
it.
no
He
sign
don't got
of
it.
it.
Damn.
And so he grabbed Darnika's bag and rifled through it, before yelling, "You snake, you whore, where's my wallet?"
Oh
But when he still couldn't
gosh.
find it in Darnika's bag, his anger turned to violence, as he stood up and rushed Darnika, grabbing her by the head and shaking her, screaming in her face, accusing her of
Yeah,
being
this
a
guy's
thief.
has some drug problems. I'm not gonna
This
lie.
time, multiple people inside the cafe rushed over to hold him back. But Roman was too strong, too angry, and with seemingly no effort at all, he pushed everyone away, completely unfazed by their attempts.
How many people are we talking here? Is bro the Hulk? What's going
In that
on?
moment, no one could have stopped Roman.
Okay.
Darnika was entirely helpless.
Not-
So
If I ever get in a situation like this where like some dude's just going crazy and don't care about whatever going on, I'm out of there.
the crowd
That's a
inside
scary
the cafe
place to be.
watched as Roman grabbed her by the neck and dragged her behind the bar, and then proceeded to kick, then stomp, and then jump
Did he
directly
kill her?
on her over and over again, each time landing on
Poor
her head.
woman just wanted to take him
It
out.
was a rage so demented that he actually began to smile, a wide manic grin, as
Oh,
he jumped
hell
and
no.
chanted, "Poor witch, die."
Oh hell no.
After what felt like an eternity, Roman stopped, before sprinting out of the restaurant, leaving Darnika entirely unrecognizable and dead on the floor.
She
The same
died.
floor where, just feet away, Roman's wallet lay. having innocently fallen out of his pocket shortly before.
Dude, rest in peace.
Roman removed his blood-soaked clothes and walked completely naked into the city center, much to the amusement of the passerbys who had no idea what he had just done, until eventually he made his way into a nearby police station.
He turned himself in
and blankly stated, "I am not well."
No shit, you ain't
This
well.
sentiment was true in
killed a
so
woman.
many regards. Roman hadn't been well for quite a long time. Since a young age, it's believed he had dealt with undiagnosed schizophrenia that had led to uncontrollable anger issues, before developing an alcohol and substance abuse problem that only exacerbated his symptoms. And by the time he was an adult, Roman became so delusional that he believed he was a disciple sent from God to touch the world with his music. Something that he eventually convinced Bianca of as well.
No!
So in their Super Talent episode, when Bianca mentioned their love for a living God that walked the earth, she was likely referencing Roman.
He manipulated her? Is that what I'm getting? And they have a child!
Roman was severely unwell, and no one in his life was keeping him in check. In fact, those closest with him were only feeding his delusions, with all of his issues coming to a head on the day of the incident. And when he realized his wallet was gone, Roman rushed to assume that Darnika was the one who robbed him, perhaps as a result of having his money stolen frequently on the streets. But the sad reality was, in a sea of people trying to exploit and mock Roman, Darnika was one of the few who actually truly cared about him and legitimately believed in his talents. And yet, he killed her in one of the most evil ways imaginable, all over a simple misunderstanding that was entirely his fault.
Rest in peace.
In the end, Roman Bernardo was deemed unfit to stand trial and was never sentenced to serve jail time, instead being given a 40-year sentence in a mental health facility, where he's since been described as a model patient, with his good behavior awarding him the opportunity to leave the facility for days at a time for therapeutic purposes.
Keep that boy locked up.
Nature is king here. Man can only watch and be humble.
There's nothing out there. It's your imagination.
What does that say? Something world? What does that say? Oh gosh, I'm worried.
It was the start of yet another adventure for the crew of the television show Gardener's World.
Yep.
This British program has been on the air since the 1960s and provides viewers with tips on how to maintain their garden while showing off a variety of unique plant life, which often brought them to remote areas of the globe. This particular episode was filmed on February 5th, 2020 in the Drakensberg Mountain Range of Lesotho, Africa, with the host, Nick Bailey, making the long journey to track down one specific flower.
One species which grows wild all over the country and has been a real favourite with British gardeners for generations.
What?
It's the gladiolus.
Never heard of it.
This delicate flower would have been familiar with many of the show's viewers, as it was quite popular in the UK. But in this region, there existed a unique species that had only been seen a handful of times in the last century, since it only grew in one particular valley in this one particular mountain range.
Where at?
Its scientific name is the Gladiolus microcarpus, and there were two people who knew it better than anyone else. Rod and Rachel Saunders were well-renowned botanists who studied the world of South African flowers in depth, with their favorite being the gladioli, as they would spend days and even months on end roaming areas just like this to learn everything they could about them, making them the perfect duo to help with the show.
Like gladioli, there's so many different plant species in South Africa.
Are they about to go crazy and like kill them? I hope not.
Some of them are
the dude on the TV looks like a cool dude.
You actually just want to sit down and cry when you see them.
But even with their vast knowledge of this region, there was always an element of danger when traversing it. Its climate is often volatile, and conditions are known to turn on a dime, making safely navigating this area extremely difficult to downright impossible. This was apparent even on the day of filming, as a dense fog had rolled in, and given the steep and rocky landscape, one long step could spell disaster. This didn't stop the crew from carrying onward, though, as Rod and Rachel were relentless in their pursuit. They would do anything to find these flowers. And sure enough, the segment ended as they did exactly that.
We've come about 4 times looking for this plant, and this is the best I've ever seen it. It is looking absolutely gorgeous.
With that, Rod and Rachel's time on Gardener's World was over. But their journey through this area certainly wasn't.
Oh, they kept going after.
As the cameras cut, the crew made their way back to their makeshift base camp miles away, where they said their goodbyes, with Nick Bailey capturing a photo with a beloved couple and sharing it onto Twitter before parting ways, leaving the couple behind. As rather than returning to their home in Cape Town, this was actually just the start of what would be a multi-month expedition into this region, with the Ngoi Forest Reserve being their final destination.
Where's
Along with
that
being
at?
botanists, the couple were also avid seed
Wait, where did it say that was
and had
at?
started a business which shipped the seeds they had found to other plant lovers around the world.
Oh, that's cool.
And while here, they made it their mission to find some of these ultra-rare gladioli seeds. And sure enough, on February 8th, 2020, Rod and Rachel sent a text to one of their employees at the seed mailing business,
Wait, does one of their
which contained
employees
a
kill
photo
them?
of the exact flower they were looking for. But despite this text seeming like a sign of more good things to come, the reality was far more bleak.
Oh no.
As this text would ultimately be the last the couple would ever send.
No, what's about to happen to them?
Out of nowhere, communication with Rod and Rachel had stopped entirely, and for days no one heard anything from the duo, prompting that same employee they had sent the image to report them as missing on the 10th of February. It was a
The
devastating turn of
employee sent
events, but one that was always a possibility. Poor weather, a wrong turn, an injury, anything could have derailed their expedition. As again, this area was notoriously dangerous, with it seeming all but certain that they had fallen victim to the unpredictable fury of Mother Nature. Though this belief would quickly shift, thanks to the discovery of the couple's car.
Yo, gang, question. If flies only live 7 days and lay hundreds of eggs, where are all the bodies? Taco. I don't know. Taco. What are you talking about, bruh? If flies only live 7 days and lay hundreds of eggs, where are all the bodies? I feel like they probably just get like smushed up into dust. Incinerated. I don't know. But W freaking Taco for joining the stream. That's all I'm talking about. I don't got my soundboard up right now. But yeah, I don't know. I actually never thought about that. I mean, they're small. I feel like they just like disintegrate. Turn to dust somehow. Or like bugs eat them.
It was found by authorities abandoned by the edge of the Tugela River and had been emptied of virtually everything inside.
W
However,
freaking
there was
question though.
Something left behind. As in the trunk, authorities would find a massive pool of blood that belonged to Rachel.
Oh no. No,
Just days after filming, Rod and Rachel were making...
Gang. I'm thinking about it. I feel like they just turned to dust. Like what? I don't know. What Taco, how about this? You tell me what you think. What do you think? Where do you think all the bodies are of the dead flies? But they only live 7 days? Bro, that can't be true. Is that actually true?
Making their way towards the Nagoy Forest Reserve, growing more and more excited by the discoveries they were making, oblivious to the fact that in the woods around...
Even with decomposition, they take a minute. They take a minute, and if things eat the flies' bodies, where do those go? They probably like fly somewhere else. I don't know. I'm not a bug expert. Wait, are you just going into people's streams asking them these questions? Like, I mean, you do yours, do you? But like, genuine question. I've never thought about that though. That is interesting. We might be onto something. You might be onto something.
Around them, they were being watched, hunted even, and not by an animal.
Wait, hold on.
But rather by a man.
Did one of their customers hunt them down and kill them? The only thing that my friend said that made any sense to me was there's an island in the middle of nowhere that all the flies. Wait, there's an island in the middle of nowhere that has all the flies? Like, yes, you are? Okay. How does your friend know there's an island? Like, has he been to Taco with the follow? Let's go. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. W Taco with the follow. Wait, that's crazy. There's an island full of taco, or not tacos, full of flies.
Was traversing. And on February 9th, he allegedly sent a text to his wife, Bibi Patel, telling her that he had found a good target, and that he was now in pursuit. With said target being Rod and Rachel. Later that night, the couple made their camp and began to drift off in their tent.
They got hunted down.
Riccio allegedly watched on. And once
Craven
he was
the
certain
Hunter
that they had
style.
fallen asleep, he made his move, approaching the tent, then tearing it open.
Was it like a hitman?
And then standing above the couple.
Was it like a hitman? What's going on?
In the following moments, Rod and Rachel would be brutally bludgeoned to death before they could even react, as they lay helplessly, still inside their sleeping bag.
Rest in peace. Hey, I apologize. At first I said they were going to go crazy, but I apologize. They seemed like a sweet old couple. Rest in peace.
Text messages indicate that Del Vecchio then enlisted the help of his wife, Bibi, as well as his friend, Musa Jackson, to help discard the bodies, using the couple's own car to transport them to the one place they were certain they would never be found.
What do they do to people?
Tigulla
What do they
River.
do though? Like, what
As
do
there was
they do to
something about the
deserve
stretch
that?
of water that they
What'd they
believed
do?
would make these bodies impossible to find. Crocodiles.
Damn,
And
they
so
fed them to
pulled
the
up to the banks
crocodile.
of the river as the crocodiles quietly watched on from a distance and dumped the bodies of Rod and Rachel.
Where is
into
this
the
all
water,
taking place
where
at?
they were
Did they say
immediately
that?
devoured.
I might just be slow.
They thought it was the perfect plan. However, it thankfully failed to work as well as they had hoped, as in the following weeks, fishermen would happen upon both of the corpses, or at least what remained of them, as they were in such bad shape
Mutilated?
that it would take nearly 2 full
Mauled?
months for them to be identified.
Torn up, chewed.
As for why this attack happened, we still don't fully know, as the trial is still ongoing, with Del Vecchio proclaiming his innocence.
Wait, those are the people
which
that
is
did
why
it?
everything is alleged at the moment, but the evidence is damning.
Damn. It's
Messages
been
on
5
Del
years
Vecchio's
and still
phone
going.
paint a clear picture that he was responsible for this, with his motive
Abduct
appearing
their
to be religious
allies to
differences
destroy
between him
put fear in the heart of the. Okay,
and the
what does that
Saunders,
even mean? What
as
are
well
they?
as
What are
money,
these fools
as
talking
after
about?
the slayings, large
What are
sums
these
of money
fools
were
talking
withdrawn
about,
from
bruh?
the couple's bank accounts, along with lavish purchases being made on their credit cards, with one of the receipts from the shopping spree being found inside of Bibi's purse. The evidence is almost impossible to deny, but while we wait for justice to be served, it's important to refocus on those who won't be here to see it happen.
Oh damn. Rest in peace.
Rod and Rachel truly did nothing wrong.
Damn.
They were two incredibly wholesome people who were just trying to find and connect with the flower that they
Dude,
loved
wait,
so
now that-
dearly.
this is actually
And
sad.
while our
I'm
interview
getting
days before their
chills.
death is an undeniably dark television
It looks so
moment.
nice.
It also serves as an incredible tribute, as one of the last things they ever did in their lives was share their love and passion for gladioli with the world, the flower that they ultimately gave their lives to find.
Quite a trek to get here, and what an incredible treat to see such a special plant.
Rest
in
in
such a
peace.
niche environment. Thank you.
Condolences to their families.
It's nice to be here.
A W freaking video. Go check out Nick Crawley on YouTube if you haven't already.